Before we start, hit that like button. It really helps out. Or that's what I've heard. And if you really like this video, subscribe to the channel. Keep coming back. I'm gonna have really awesome stuff for you guys. Every week I'll be dropping a new video. So let's get right to it. I wanna let you guys know 5 things that I like about this device, things that I don't like about it, and by the end of it, I wanna recommend it. Who's this device for? Let's just jump in. 5 things I love about the iPad Pro M1 12.9 inch. First and foremost, it's gotta be the chipset. So the M1 chipset is the same one that they have in their MacBook lineups, the MacBook Airs especially. So you're getting a desktop grade or a laptop grade processor, which is amazing, super powerful, super efficient in an iPad. You're also gonna get a Thunderbolt port for the first time in an iPad. So this can do a lot of things that say the iPad Air can do, because the chipset's very similar. I know the iPad Air has one of the GPUs turned off, so this has actually a little bit more power. So with a Thunderbolt port and the M1 chip, you're getting super amount of power and you're getting an efficient chipset. So anybody that's used the M1, they can tell you it's amazing. So that'd be the number one thing. That's one of the reasons I really thought I should make the dive to the iPad Pro. Secondly, and honestly the most important, is the screen. No other iPad can you get a 12.9 inch screen. There's no iPad Air 12.9. You have to get the Pro 12.9 to get the screen. This screen is also mini LED, which means it's got about 10,000, I believe, local dimming zones. So it can actually turn off some of those zones to get those deep blacks similar to OLED. It's still not as perfect with the deep blacks as OLED is, because OLEDs can actually turn off all the areas, all the individual pixels, where this can't. But what OLED can't do is OLED can't get as bright as this. So on average, 1,000 nits of brightness to 1,600 nits of sustained brightness. So that HDR looks great, and you still have those inky blacks. I do have a little bit of issue with blooming, but not a lot. And I'll tell you, I think working on this in a creative space is a lot better than actually how it's been for me working on an OLED screen. I would take this over an OLED just because the brightness, the HDR makes the world of a difference, and you're still getting that high contrast ratio. Biggest thing about this iPad is probably the screen. It's the only one that provides mini LED. The 11-inch Pro does not. I would say the third thing that I really love about this device is the peripheral support. I use my MX Keys Mini and an MX Master on this device, and it works flawlessly. The mouse and keyboard work amazing on this via Bluetooth. They have full functionality. iPads now have been updated, especially with iOS 15, to really support this. I also use a PlayStation 5 controller to play games. Pairs flawlessly, works amazingly, and they're working on getting the haptics, which it's not there yet, but when it does, it'll be amazing, because I've heard great things about the PS5 haptics. And then you look at the Apple Pencil, you look at the devices that they have, they're amazing. The Apple Pencil is bar none the best device I've used, and I've had a Samsung Note before, and nothing beats the latency of the Apple Pencil. It's a key thing that you want to have with this device, or any iPad that supports it, to be honest. The last thing is, everybody raves about the Apple Magic Keyboard. For $350 US, or I think over 400 Canadian, it's not something I think I need with the MX Keys Mini that I have in the MX Master, but maybe at some point, because this does replace 95% of the things I can do with a laptop, and that's the reason I bought it. That's the reason I love it. It's so portable, more so than a laptop. It's just the screen, right? And if you can pair some peripherals with it, you cannot go wrong. Fourth thing I love about this is the apps. The App Store, and I think it's because the market penetration for iPads. I think between 60 to 80% of the iPads and the tablets in the world are iPads. So the apps on here are quality apps. I'm gonna be editing this video on LumaFusion. I use Procreate to do artwork and hopefully build some NFTs. I use a Notability. I love all the apps because I feel like they're all quality apps, where when I was in the Google Play Store, I found a lot of apps that I didn't really need, that didn't have any value to me. So within saying that, the apps are amazing. What you can really utilize this device for, bar none, better than any tablet you can get on the market. And that's any iPad, which leads me to my last point, is the Apple ecosystem. I have an Apple Watch, I have an iPhone, and I have AirPods. Everything just pairs seamlessly. I love that. I love how the device just works perfectly. My AirPods will hand off from my iPhone to the iPad Pro easily. And the noise canceling from my AirPods Pro, amazing. And the fact that just when I bring the device, I don't have to pair it with Bluetooth. Think about the Apple Pencil. Magnetically charges on the top and pairs. You don't need to do anything else. It just works. Even if I'm on a browser on Safari on my phone, when I get to the iPad, it's handed off the website. So I can just jump on there. My iMessages all show up. I can FaceTime through it. And now with center stage for the camera, it just works, and it works easily. I love that about this device. A couple things I don't like about this device though. It's an M1 iPad Pro. So if you think about it, you have an M1 chip that's available on their laptops, but it doesn't work as such. So if you think about it, I would pay Apple for this. If they would give me a $400 or $500 dock that would let me go into Mac OS, because it has the full capability to do it. And I know it wouldn't be hard for them to code this in, but they refuse to do so. And I know they want to separate iPads from MacBooks, but I need something that I could touch. I need that feedback. I need the Procreate. I need the iPad function, but I also need another device right now for the other 5% of things I need to do, because 95% of things, emails, checking YouTube, I can do on here, but things like the file explorer and everything like that just do not work properly as they should on a computer. Give me some Mac OS if you can. Which leads me to my second biggest point, is those limitations of iPad OS in itself. If I want to put a secondary monitor through that Thunderbolt port that has 40 gigabytes, it can output 40 gigabytes, do display, everything like that, extends the display. It doesn't make a secondary display. And I get the black bars on the side. That doesn't make sense. And Apple's doing that, and it's limiting that. And that's the frustration. They could easily give us a full secondary display. And there's apps that do that. That's the frustration. And it is a premium device, and you're paying for it. Which leads me to my last point. It's a premium device, and you're paying for it. You do get that beautiful screen. You do get the M1 chip. Price, that's a big one. That's the last, I think, downfall. And a lot of people can do 99% of what I can do on this iPad. 99% of what I can do with this iPad, they can do on an iPad Air, which is, I believe, like $6.99. They could buy 2 of those for the price of this. And it has Apple Pencil support. It might not have mini LED screen. It might not have Face ID, but it does almost everything else. So you really got to think about where you're at in your life and if that price difference is worth it. Which to me is like, do I recommend this device? Yes, I do. It's an awesome device. I love it. I don't have any buyer's remorse. And I would say this, if you're in a situation in your life where your wants and needs, right? If you have to go by needs and your budget tells you needs, you might get an iPad 9th gen with an Apple Pencil that supports it. I don't know if it's Gen 1, but that supports it. And you can do a lot of things that I can do on here. But if you're in a situation where financially you can afford some of those wants and some of those premiums, I would say go for it, because you can't get this big of a screen. And it does help. Screen real estate makes more of a difference for me, the 12.9 inch screen, than the actual mini LED and the brightness. That's a nice to have. But I'm in a situation in my life where I can have something like this, knowing that I'm probably going to use this for the next 4 or 5 years as a tool. It's going to edit my videos. I'm going to make YouTube videos out of it. I make notes, and I make plans with this. I do Procreate and everything. I'm actually utilizing the device, so it's worth it to me. You have to ask yourself, is this specific device worth it to you, or could you get away with something a little bit cheaper and save that money towards something else? Because you add the Apple Pencil. Some people like the Apple Magic Keyboard, and you're looking at over $2,000 Canadian. Is that worth it to you? Lastly, I'll leave you with this. I love this device, and if you like this video and if you found it's helped you in some way, and I gave you some information that's helped you along the way on making a decision of, is this the iPad for you? Continue to watch my channel. This is my first video. I want to talk about tech. I want to talk about how tech has changed our life, whether that's finance, crypto, whether that's health, how we can use tech to better our lives. So I'll be making videos about that. I'll share some of my peripherals that I use on this iPad. I will share my desk setup. I will share all the things I use tech for to enrich my life. So if you'd like to see that, please hit the like, please comment. I'll reply to every comment, and please subscribe. I'd like to see you guys again and build a community. So thank you. I'm Ben, and I'm out.